I don't think I've actually had as much fun mag dumping MP5s than I had with any other gun. It was probably the most fun gun to shoot. It's like recoil set to 0, and you just get to run around with this fun little sub gun. It's like seeing the face of God, gentlemen, if I'm being honest.
I want to do that. I just want to do that. Just let's go mag dump into trash.
You're listening to the Art and War podcast with your hosts, Mitch and Nathan. Mitch is a former airborne infantry squad leader who now spends most of his time coaching soccer. Nathan is a professional illustrator and an avid shooter with a couple of years of Canadian military experience. Together, they run the Seaburn Art page. Enjoy the show.
Just call me out like that and immediately start recording, Mitch.
I definitely can, and I just did. We got the talking Balaclava today, and he inspired a lot of Nathan's modern range attire. And Nathan was about to tell us about it.
Fuck you.
Do tell, Nathan.
Fuck you. I have a small variety of kit, Mitch. It switches up fairly often, all because I like carry handles one week and, dangler pouches around my midsection.
I like both those things. Yeah. So you have great taste.
Thank you. I believe that one can find those things on his own without, stealing them from a talking balaclava. I'm sorry, I need to turn my phone into silent.
Yeah, but yes, that's not how that came
I really like the... Yes.
I stole the balaclava from Christian Craighead, so I'm not original at all. That's the thing.
No, you're original
works.
to us.
It really works.
You're original to us. So here's how this happens. Since Nathan seems tentative to talk about it, I'm just totally going to talk about it. One day, I get a message from Nathan, and it was one of your posts of you in like jeans, the balaclava. I don't remember what gun you were shooting. And he was like, "This is a whole fucking vibe," or something like that. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." And then we did a character of you. And then next thing I know, like a week later, Nathan sends me a picture of himself at the range. Like wearing a body, almost the same exact thing.
It's a whole fucking look, Mitch. It's a whole look.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
I was going to submit it to join Task Force 420, and I just didn't get my application in time, and it went ahead without me.
That's good. Task Force 420 is an excellent branch of the LARPerator universe. That SOB Garanthem, he's rolling the Task Force 69, but that's a totally different, SOPs and unit doctrine, how they all spin up and stuff like that.
Are they a higher tier
unit? I think you going with the right. They just have a different mission set. Truly, when it boils down to where they're operating, where they're working on there's certain flat ranges. They're going to differ from our certain flat ranges. We like to think we specialize more so in desert warfare, retro desert warfare. Here at Task Force 420, while they're more on the modern era Pacific Northwest crew. So potato.
Well, their primary enemy is Ron Jeremy.
I tracked down the Ron Jeremy target, and you can buy them in batches of like $100. The shipping. Yeah. Like they're a real thing. You can just fucking buy. And where did I find? I don't know. It was just a Google hole. I don't know if I could find it again, but.
I think I literally Googled Ron Jeremy target, and that's what popped up.
Ron Jeremy target. Yeah, no.
That or police.
I feel like
print your own, though, right?
You could. Remember, Mitch, a while ago, we were going to, just for like the meme, at least this was one of the many ideas we floated around. Just like draw up a version of that target in our style and just have it as like a free to download thing.
Yeah. We should still do that.
You know what? I'm down. That could be fun.
We could do like Big Chungus and all that. So now we're getting into our favorite part of every podcast, and that's just complete self-masturbation and ignoring our guests and talking about what we like to do.
It happens so much.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I found it. It's it's called the law enforcement targets. The one I found, it says man with boy hostage split something. I lost the rest. But essentially, I just typed in police. Yeah, police hostage target is what I typed in.
Good.
Can you copy and paste that into the chat?
Yeah, I'm going to probably buy a shitload of these.
Yeah, I think you can. Let's see.
There's some shared ranges around here, and I want to start leaving. Oh my god! It first result on Google: man with boy hostage split second target from shop.actiontarget.com.
Clinical.
Dude, Shop Dog Action Target's gonna get a whole bunch of sales. They're
not
gonna know
yeah.
why.
I'm not going to know why. Oh my god!
Like, hey,
okay,
this weird guy Mike keeps buying these, and now like everybody's fucking buying these.
It's like, who uses this many? Just like, why does it say Task Force 6-9 on the invoice?
Oh my god!
If you buy 1,000, they're 53 cents a piece. Oh my god!
I know.
That's not
yeah,
bad
we're gonna
at
make
all.
a whole Ron Jeremy army.
$530 of Ron Jeremy.
Yeah. The ATF is raiding your house, but you just have posters of Ron Jeremy plastered
Ron Jeremy
all
everywhere.
over. Who is Task Force 420's main enemy combatant?
Well, I would say it's probably Macaulay Culkin Hitler. I would say that if we're going off certain timelines and playing it, it looks like Macaulay Culkin Hitler has deeper talents using Nazi space magic, with how he runs the different Ron variants along the multiple timelines. So we're working our way to a climax maybe with Macaulay Culkin Hitler, but we'll see if we get there or not, or if we keep getting fandangoed along the way.
Just the shared lore between your universes is basically like Star Trek. I'm into it.
That's the goal. I mean, I kind of forced my way in there, if I'm being honest. I was like, I thought it was just hilarious and I loved it, so I was like, all right, I want to make my own lore and we'll spoof off of Task Force 69.
So, tell us a little bit about the man behind. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
You know what? No, answer Nathan. Nathan, what were you saying?
No, I'm just being retarded. Go ahead. You've got more to say than I do. I have an Irish coffee and it's 8 p.m. This was a terrible idea. I'm going to be up till very late.
Which question do you want answered?
Tell us a little bit about the man behind the mask.
Yeah, my name is the Talking Balaclava. I'll be 25 this week. I like long watches on the beach. I put my pants on, 2 feet and a backflip at a time, just like everybody else.
You do it by yourself? I'm still working on that. I still need help.
No, my wife does have to help me. Yeah. So nothing too crazy, man. Just a regular ass dude who likes to make internet YouTube videos.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And you got a sick mustache too. Sick mustache.
Does he have a mustache?
Yeah,
you can actually see it through the balaclavas in certain pictures, but yeah, it's a work in progress.
That's awesome.
So I find the mustache has gotten more compliments from dudes than other women. So
I mean, it's a dude thing, My wife doesn't have just like my mustache, I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it for the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for the boys.
What inspired you to start doing what you do?
So essentially how it went down is my buddy RBMT, he was building AKs and he was like selling and building AKs. And at the time I was like, I was just helping him out with his social media. So we're going out doing a little bit of marketing. He was just very small because he took a build class from Jim Fuller. And he was like, you know what, I'm going to get my FFL, my SOT. I'm going to start building AKs. And I was like, cool, man. Let me know what you need help with. So I was just helping him with marketing stuff for Instagram. And then what ended up happening is a lot of leftover pictures, when we go out of like me. And I was like, you know what, I want to start like my own separate account. And that's essentially how it grew into that. He then switched over. He got out of the AK game after getting his fill and switched over to doing media stuff. So now he's like my go-to camera guy. And then me is just doing like YouTube and Instagram stuff. So essentially the evolution of it's nothing too crazy. It wasn't like I'm going to start a business. It was like, we're going to have some fun in the range and see if it does anything. And it's snowballed from there. So it's doing good now though, which is exciting.
Sometimes it's all you really need though. I think the important thing is to have fun.
Is it starting to evolve into a business?
Yeah, I think essentially, personally in my life, I recently quit my job due to, and I won't say what it was. I'll come out with something like that in the near future.
Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy, he doxed me at work, and so I had to quit my job. No. my place of work recently issued mandatory vaccines, so I decided to draw my line in the sand. And if anyone listening, it's like I'm not anti-vax or pro-vax. I'm anti-government overstep. So that's where I drew the line. I bounced out, and I'm treating this thing as a full-time business, which now it pretty much is. So I would say yes is a short answer. Yeah, it's pretty much turned into a business for me on my end.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely really cool. I didn't think it was going to take that turn. But I think if I were to start treating it more so like a business and really dialing it in, then it should treat me like a business too, if that makes any sense.
Definitely is. So I don't see, like, for the most part, I'll just ask, like, how do you make most of that money from your page? Because we're kind of in a similar stance, and you don't have to answer that. I understand money is like a personal thing. You don't have to answer that. But I ask because we're kind of in a similar stage where we did this just for fun and for the sake of getting information out. And now it's starting to evolve more into money being involved, and it's kind of becoming a business, but we're still trying to, and I think we do a good job of trying to keep it fun for ourselves. If it wasn't fun, we wouldn't do it.
100%. But even recently, just keeping content fresh, that's hard. That's really hard. And
yeah, that's one of my big fears. Is I'm not blowing over your money issue, but one of my big fears is like, people getting tired of your content getting stale. Those are very real things. You got to watch out for. I think, me personally, I listen to a lot of, Joe Rogan podcast, and after a while, I'd like take a break because I was just getting tired of him. Just because it's like every podcast, it's like, hey, have you tried DMT, man? Have you ever? Coronavirus is crazy, man. And it's like every podcast, it's like the same thing with the same person for like the first hour, and I was like, all right, that's you gotta deviate, you gotta change things up. But as far as money goes, I signed with Leviathan.
Holy shit! Good job.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so I signed with them. That's the biggest breadwinner, and then merchandise is huge. That really helps alleviate a lot of cost for the channel. So it's like Leviathan's kind of like how I pay the mortgage now, and then merchandise is how I pay for all the costs. I pay my camera guy, I pay him pretty good. And then I pay ammo. It's all out of pocket for the channel and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
that's tough these
hopefully
days.
it's gonna be hopefully that'd be more of a tax write-off. That's why a lot of my channel isn't like I'm not R&Ding, a company's gun, because I don't have the infrastructure to do that. So it's like very loose and fast if it would ever be a review in the conventional sense. So those are the two big ones. And then like AdSense, it's hit or miss, especially with gun channels. So that's like I would never hold my breath for AdSense, but then Patreon's probably the third biggest one. Patreon's actually really big help too. So with those big three, you can get pretty far, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, we've noticed too, our Patreon, we were very hesitant to start it, and then Pageosity.
I was vehemently against it.
She convinced
not
us.
for any real reason other. Yeah.
Who convinced you?
Pageosity. And like you said, actually, with the content getting like kind of stale, like that's kind of why we have so many different variety guests, because we understand, like, obviously the gun industry and those folks are primarily like our audience, but we also have friends outside of that. And I think Paige still counts as being a part of that audience, but she is a very like niche part of that audience, I think. But she convinced us to do Patreon, and it's our second month, and we just broke $500 a month committed now. So I think we got 43 Patreons, which is pretty cool. It's super, super, super helpful.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
That's really good. I'm glad people are actually like downloading the stuff from there too. It's seeing the printouts that people were actually like printing the guides and turning them into their own books. That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. It definitely helps you can have a good, thing to offer on Patreon too. I was in the same boat. I was like, I'm not starting a Patreon. I don't have anything cool, but I was like, well, I'll throw it up and see what happens. Worst case, I can cover some ammo, and it's been helping. It's been a big help. So don't ever knock that.
No, it's absolutely tremendous.
I think people.
Yeah. Every little thing helps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People, I think people, if you have a good crowd of people that support you, there will be people that want to help, and they'll throw money your way, and that is a big help to what you're trying to do and trying to accomplish. So, big thank you to those guys.
Yeah, I mean, huge thanks to both people. Both audiences that support either or Patreon. I mean,
both
you guys
people, all two patrons that we have, all two of them. They
No, we
each
got
give
like
$250 evenly, apparently. I know
Hey,
that's
all
the
40
joke. There's
all
it's a good
43
amount
of
of
ours
inputs.
and
It's very
all
much
of the ones
appreciated.
that support the Talking Balaclava. Y'all are dope. That helps us out significantly. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear
It
that you
helps us
kind
out
of
a
got some
Hugs
lot.
and kisses for everybody.
Yeah.
Hugs and kisses for everybody.
Yeah, all the hugs and kisses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps out a bunch.
How's it going, lads and ladies? This is BR speaking, the producer of the show, with a quick break from Balaclava Man to talk about our Patreon. We want to keep pushing what we can do, not only with the podcast and Instagram, but perhaps even further, in ways that will change not only the value we're able to give you, but the very nature of our lifestyles and what we're capable of. Sounds lofty, but Mitch will touch on that at some time later in the show when he's slightly intoxicated, so listen out for that. But what's in it for you? Our Patreon subscribers enjoy 5 different tiers of exclusive perks, ranging from all the content the lads would post on a pre-Zuckerberg Instagram, downloadable high-resolution guides, behind-the-scenes info like guest schedules, spicy memes, and at our highest tier, get monthly art commissions from Nathan himself. You can find our Patreon via the link in this episode's description, or in the Seaburn Art page's bio on Instagram. Now let's get back to administrative results. What a legend.
I've only kind of been aware of your page since Nathan has showed me, and I think at the time when he showed me, you were at like 17,000 followers, which is like a lot, but compared to where you're at now, I mean, you've blown up in a couple months. How long have you been around doing stuff, and what was that, if you had a moment where like all of a sudden like you realized that you could make this into a business and something for yourself?
Yeah, that it really has been ticking upwards and going and going and going, which is I'm grateful for. I didn't think it was going to be as successful as it is, to be honest. I don't want to tap out yet. I still have plans for the future, but I don't know. It's tough to define a moment, because when you do something like this, where you're like always putting, I hate to say the word content because it's so played out with other, creative outlets. But when you are like out there making videos and putting stuff out there, like pictures and stuff like that, it feels very repetitive the day to day. So I feel like you do lose track of time to a certain extent. I'd say a big breakthrough is just probably maybe like having, Jim Fuller on, having Travis on, because those guys do have a big amount of gravity, in gun culture. So
Travis Haley?
People, yeah, he made a sneaky guest appearance on one of the Task Force 420 short videos I did on YouTube. He's one of the other he's the gray Balaclava.
That's all. I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's funny little he sneaked onto that one. Some people caught it, like some people were like, "Oh, that's totally Travis Haley." Other people were like, and they had no idea. So I mean, that was pretty funny. That's like the fun of the whole channel. And then, I think with Grantham playing along with the whole Task Force 420, I think that definitely helped. You know what I mean? I'm not like oblivious. So those guys have all much bigger followings than me. So I think with the gravity of their, planets colliding with my small little planet, I think that definitely helped out.
I thought you worked for Mike. I thought you worked for him.
No. I don't. I don't work for Mike. No, he's not paying me. Unless you want to let him know if he should pay me or not. So.
Probably
hey, Mike,
anyone who's listening to this should immediately just go spam comment that on whatever Mike's latest. Like, hey, why aren't you paying the Balaclava?
Yeah, go spam Mike. Yeah.
No, I was actually huge. Still am. I'm a huge fan of, Mike's work. Mike being Grantham, of course, but a huge fan of his work. You got to think like, I don't know how many of your guys know me or anything like that, but I'll be 25 this week. So I've essentially grown up within like gun culture for the past, X amount of years. And I think when I was doing a video I think I did a video on SKS, and I went back and I looked at it was one of Mike's like earlier posts from like 2011. So he's been on YouTube since I was like in high school, essentially. You know what I mean?
Holy shit.
I've grown up, watching these other guys like Travis Haley and Grantham and all these other big guys posting in gun culture and how they affect it. So that to me is kind of crazy in that aspect.
So what's it like being in the presence and same realm as those people that you started, watching content, in high school. I mean, I can't say the same. I've only within like the last 2 to 3 years even known who Mike or Grantham or Travis Haley and the Lucas Botkins and all those people are. So
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I'd be like in the same sphere as them. They have so much more going on with their channels, their businesses, their companies.
You will be one day.
I appreciate that. I
think you're already there. Talking Balaclava, man.
Thank you. Well, I don't know. I want to me, I'd rather play it safe and more aspect of humility. I don't want to be the guy that's like, I'm thinking I'm hot stuff just because I, post YouTube internet gun videos. To me, that's like my biggest fear of like getting a big head in that aspect. So I don't know. I try and take it more with the road of humility. Because I feel like when you do see a lot of guys out in gun culture, and not the guys that I all look up to, but there are guys out there that have big heads and big egos and have the big like I'm the shiz because I know how to shoot on the flat range, and it's like, all right, man, I want to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you can acknowledge where you're headed without having a big head. Especially you. I mean, I'm looking at you from an outsider's perspective. I would consider you almost in the same realm as where they are. Obviously, they have a larger audience, but I mean, content-wise, like I said, I literally thought you worked for them.
Wow,
the way that your content was, and I mean, I love your content. Like when you,
thank you, sir.
I mean, you do things that that I have plans to do in the next year or two when I'm out of the military. You're doing it. You're doing exactly what I plan to do. Just kind of like you have your YouTube channel, you have your YouTube videos, but on Instagram, you kind of take little funny clips like throwing a fucking, a weapon through like a Ron Jeremy like target. Like, but that shit gets shares, it gets likes, like it's hilarious, like it's fucking perfect. And that's exactly like I had this idea. I have like a whole fucking plan of like shit that I was doing. And weekly, I'm just looking at your page. I'm like, damn, like this motherfucker's doing this shit before I had a plan to do it. And it's great. I love it. I'm thoroughly enjoying it because that's the type of content that I thought I would enjoy doing. And you're fucking crushing it.
Well, have you ever seen Inception? I've just been mind heisting you this whole time. Whenever you're sleeping, I'll just go in and steal your ideas.
Balaclava just comes through your window, hooks up the machine.
God fucking damn it.
Gasses you on the way to work every morning.
Let me say, your subconscious, though, real tough son of a bitch. Yeah. Right? Kills me just about every time.
Goddamn.
I enjoy all the pop culture references. It's very fun. I like that. I think that's my favorite part.
It's very funny. Yeah.
Like, I think what got me into you was your Blood Diamond build initially. Just, that's about it. That's how I found out about you.
The Blood Diamond build. Oh my gosh, that gun took up so much free real estate in my head for years before I built it, man. It really did.
It was worth it.
It was like the biggest
worth it.
Cathartic. It was like the weirdest cathartic release when I finally got it built and everything. You know what I mean? So I think like the stamp finally, like, let me say, like, I hate that I had to pay a tax stamp. So the federal government technically would have never known. Yeah. But I don't.
Admittedly, you're putting it on YouTube and everything else. I think you can be forgiven.
Right.
For
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
So that's my biggest advice. I'm like, technically, the ATF and the feds had left. Not the ATF, but the feds have left the Taliban billions of dollars of equipment, and they're expecting me to pay a $2 tax stamp.
What was it again? $65 billion.
And it's like, just seeing the guns that they got, dude.
Yeah, oh my god.
Everything we all like.
And it's all on eBay now. You can buy fucking like full power PEC 15s out of Kuwait, and it's like, I know where these motherfuckers came from. I know where this fucking like laser designator fucking this like B.E. Myers thing came from. Yeah, this was bought with taxpayer dollars.
Switch your VPN. Switch your VPN over to Kuwait.
Yeah. Straight up, I looked like the week afterwards. I just looked on like Kuwaiti and Emirati eBay just for like the spoils of war. But the people who had the forethought to smuggle them out of the country also had the forethought to mark them up accordingly. So I didn't end up getting anything.
I don't know, getting like a full power PEC for like $200.
Yeah, I was hoping, but no, they're up for like $3,500. There still are some. Last I looked. But I feel like
it feels like a trap, but I say send it.
If anything says that eBay is just, I mean, ITAR is just full of shit, it's that.
Yeah, it's the government bureaucracy and facade is part of the worst part, man. It's just so tough. It's also tiresome.
It's also tiresome.
I just remember like watching Afghanistan fall. It's like I didn't serve. I had older brothers that served. My second older brother, he had a buddy who was killed in Afghanistan. It's like I personally can't relate to it as much as he can, of course, but it was just like watching how they went about that. Really, I think is heartbreaking. I couldn't imagine for the guys that were actually there, their blood, sweat, and tears into the soil. I don't know, that one really hurt. And then, of course, when the Marines got killed, it's all just a bummer. I don't want to bum your audience out, but
no, I mean,
anyway,
it's an ass situation, and not even the good kind of ass, the bad kind of ass.
The very much bad kind of ass.
Yeah, very much bad.
Yeah, it was a real shit situation. But so when you do you have somebody that cuts your videos, puts them there? Like, do you have an editor, like a production team, or is it mostly just you and like one other person? Like, what's that operation look like?
Well, of course I know him. He's me. Yeah, I'm the editor. I edit all my own videos. My cameraman, he'll film, so we have a pretty good system down. So we'll go out, we'll film, I get the footage, and I'll edit the videos to my liking. If this thing were to really grow, I'd maybe consider getting an external editor. But for now, I really do like the creative process of having my own flavor of video. So like that to me is like the scariest part, is probably giving up the edit. But I'm sure a very skilled editor could figure out my style. So I'm not like, I don't think I'm that special. You know what I mean? So.
Always outsource what you can. It's you only have so much time in the day, and creating takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. I'm like behind a good chunk of videos right now, so I've been like editing, and I'm like, oh, I hope these aren't like dipping off in quality. That's my fear, but I think they're still true to myself. So
Mitch is occasionally we'll force each other to just take breaks. Yeah, I think it's really important. Eventually things start to get stale, and if you stop enjoying it, it just becomes a chore. And I think one of the worst things in the world is stopping enjoying the thing that you love. Like because you've pushed yourself too hard at it.
It's such a hard dynamic, especially in this sphere, when it's like you're putting out little internet content, you know what I mean? And people, you're starting to make money off of it. So it's like, okay, well, this is kind of turned into a hustle, and then it's starting to evolve more where you're getting more money, and it's like, okay, this is turning into a job now. And, it's like that breaking point of, okay, is this going to turn into a full-time job? Is this going to be like a full-time hustle? Because it's taking up so much time. But that is the hardest thing, is that balance, man. That's truly where it's going to come into play.
There's pros and cons to making money with this whole thing. Like a pro is definitely it's money, and money helps you and kind of motivates you if you have a goal. Like, for example, we were kind of talking about it for a bit. Like, our goal is to buy a really big piece of land in the middle of fucking nowhere that we can kind of homestead.
Oh, are we talking about that? Is that public? Can
do you not want it to be?
No, Jesus. I've been treating it like it's been a big secret for some reason. But no.
Well, I mean, in theory, can't your editor always edit it out?
Yeah, I thought it was Mitch's secret. I didn't know it. I'm okay with fucking talking about it. Jesus. I think it's a great idea.
It's not my secret.
All right.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, I have no problem with it, but that's kind of like our goal with it, and obviously more money enables us to have more time to create more content and just increase the quality. But ultimately our end goal is to get enough money to, and this might take years, but to have enough money to get a really nice piece of land to where we can go out, build our own range, and just do our own shit.
180 degrees, berms on all sides, drag a bunch of cars there, like a bunch of prefab fucking sheds.
Yep.
Just have a fun little place to LARP around it.
Dude, that is the dream.
Yeah.
Because that having your own range is clutch, man. I don't know the feeling, but I know the guys that do have their own range. We all know, I mean. But dude, that's your own range is where it's at.
I'm putting 100% of like my proceeds that don't go towards food and shelter over my head are going towards this idea.
Well, and that's one of the other things. Like when we have Patreon, we haven't withdrew any money from that yet.
No,
that's going to be an end of the year, like large deposit after taxes.
Yeah.
And then we can look at it and be like, okay, this is how much money that we could put down on something.
Yes.
because our goal is pretty similar, but we need to get Nathan to fucking America before.
Before fucking the federal elections were a couple days ago, and I mean, admittedly, the federal elections were essentially like, hey, what color are you going to paint the drone that's going to hunt Nathan down? But
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I got to get the fuck out of here, and especially now, I got to get the fuck out of here. I've been hemming and hawing about it for a long time. Now it's just like money, vehicle that is capable of hauling all my shit across, 2 countries, and a location. And the big thing is I don't want to like sell my house and move somewhere if we have this plan. So as things get finalized, it's becoming a lot more real. But I'm just reinvesting everything that I make on my end.
So that's where all the Patreon money is kind of going to a mixture of getting Nathan to America, and that's our goal. But enough self-masturbation, because we do that plenty much. Do you?
No. This is good.
Yes.
This is good.
But yes, Balaclava, if we when we have the range. I'm not even going to speak about it as ifs. When we have the range, you're more than welcome to come down and mag dump into trash with us.
Yeah, by all means.
I would love nothing more than to mag dump into trash and throw illegal Molotov cocktails everywhere.
Oh, fuck yeah.
My dream come true. Allegedly. I know, we're going to have to go...
Allegedly,
have to go break Nathan free from federal Canada.
But bust into the quarantine camp, kill all the Tesla robots. I don't know.
The Tesla bots.
Tesla bots.
Oh, dude, that totally reminds me. I was gonna work. I have one in the plan where it's like the Great Boogaloo. It's like the Tesla Technicals and then the Amazon Strike Drone. I think there's some. That one has some real legs. You know what I mean?
Hey, be careful! Be careful with the B word on Instagram. I don't know how YouTube is. Instagram does not like the B word.
Oh yeah, they are not a fan. Someone got fucking.
They are not a fan of the B word.
Someone we know, a podcast run by 2 guys we know. Someone brought up the B word on it, and they got fucking swatted.
Yeah, they got raided.
Am I gonna get you guys?
No. You're fine. You're fine.
Okay, all right.
But as a heads up, we know of this one situation where a dude got his doors kicked down and he was hauled off because he talked about the B word on biting the bullet. Actually.
Yeah, I mean we don't know the guy personally, but we do know the biting the bullet folks, and
they're pretty cool. I mean, they're assholes. Are we still doing that bit? Yeah, fuck.
I mean, our podcast is better than our podcast is better than theirs.
Their podcast sucks. I don't know if it's any good because I don't listen to it because it sucks.
Yeah. And I'm significantly better at fantasy football than they are, but
me too. I just drafted Wayne Gretzky to my fantascy football team.
God damn it!
Wait a second.
Yeah,
goddamn second.
I don't
know anything about sports, but that doesn't sound right. You goddamn Canuck bastard!
He doesn't even know his own fucking sport of hockey. He's talking about Wayne Gretzky in football. He didn't know who Cristiano Ronaldo was.
Who cares who Cristiano Ronaldo is? I don't know who that is.
The entire fucking world.
I asked
Nathan,
several people
the entire
who Cristiano Ronaldo was, and they're like, who? What? And then you were giving me shit, and you just started sending me shirtless pictures of Cristiano Ronaldo. It's like, Mitch, what am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to know who this is? Why are you sending me shirtless pictures of this dude? Why?
Oh my god! Yeah, soccer's a big deal to the rest of the world. Apparently, who knows?
It is.
I fucking love.
I genuinely don't know. My only experience with soccer is once a year the Italians in my neighborhood riot over it, but.
Those goddamn Dago bastards.
God.
I can say that because I am actually Italian before anybody in the woke crowd gets a little upset. So.
You ever been to Italy?
I've been to Little Italy's.
Little Italy's pretty good.
I lived in Real Boy, Italy for a couple of years. You fake ass Italian.
No wonder you like soccer.
All right, fair enough.
I fucking love
it. Yeah, that makes sense.
What's so we talked about our goal. Do you have a goal when it comes, because now you're starting to make money? Do you have like an end goal, or maybe not even an end goal, but like the next level up goal for what you want to do?
Yes, there are goals. Personal goals I have, like growing the audience, putting out better information, getting certain guys on who have high quality real world experience that can instruct. to add some more value to the audience's life, update, or bring up to speed a higher production value, crank out good quality, 2A focused content essentially. Get my own range is a big one. I think just that for personal safety and for a control when you want to go out and film stuff, that's a big one. I have nothing against the people I go out and see at the range when I do go. It's just like when you're trying to film and someone's popping off shots into the trash behind you, it's kind of distracting. So
yeah,
and I get afraid of like if this gets really big, you know what I mean? It's like I don't want to get Chris Kyled. That's like my fear. Some like Antifa Joker wants to come kill you. You know what I mean? So,
I feel it's unavoidable at some point. You're going to bring in someone you just want nothing to do with.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time, but we've gotten death threats before. Have you gotten death threats?
Surprisingly, no, I haven't. I thought I was going to get a lot of negative press just due to like my interest within gun culture with the whole like, I know it's controversial, but the whole Rhodesia stuff. I thought I was going to get more negative press on that, but that wasn't too bad. That went away pretty quick. But for the most part, it's been a very, I don't want to jinx myself, but very positive crowd that I've been working with. I do fear that if this thing were to be more open in the future, that I'd face more doxing or death threats. But I think that kind of comes with the price you pay for it, which is kind of shitty. But we'll play it by ear and maintain a level of security.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you get what you put out there, honestly, and you have a very positive online presence, which is good, and I think that works to your favor.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get too divisive politically. I think, I do have my own personal political opinions, and they are pretty much, what gun culture is. But I try not to put those out there and project that too much because I want to bring in new people to the gun crowd, and I think it's a lot more appealing to those people when they don't have to get bombarded by more politics.
I agree,
but instead remind them like, hey, the only politics I truly care about are those that infringe against my freedoms to keep and bear arms.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I think most general political spectrums can get behind that. So that's the goal. I mean, I because it's also tiresome yet again when you're getting bombarded by the same political divisiveness, over and over.
Yeah.
So I try and keep it Swiss.
I think that's a good way of doing it, honestly. There's a lot of political channels. There's a lot of people who are fighting the good fight, and I really appreciate them. But on that note, I think the culture war is important, and if you start off kind of at 100, it scares people away, and there need to be people who bring people into it.
Yeah, and I think as it grows, I maybe open up more about my political and cultural beliefs. Yeah. But I think for now, I like where it's at, where I'm having fun making gun videos.
Yeah.
So, if that's a thing I need to pivot and shift to, then I'd address it. But I think for now, I'm very happy staying in my lane.
Yeah. Hidden political opinion.
Someone else's.
Fuck all Italian people.
Listen here, you dago bastards!
God damn it!
Yeah. You guinea wops! Yeah.
I think our problem is that we like making fun of stereotypes, and it's any side. It could be any side, right, left, medium, up, down, and it pisses off so many people. But I feel like people have very selective like listening to some of our posts, because we'll make fun of the left one day, and everybody on the right's like, fuck yeah. Then we'll make fun of the right one day, and then everybody on the left is like, fuck yeah. And then
they just forget. They just forget.
Yeah, they just forget that we were just fucking making fun of them a couple days ago.
Like,
but
what's that meme of? It's from The Office. It's got Dwight and that blonde lady, and it's like Democrats thinking, like, overhearing me make fun of Republicans, and then it's like Dwight cringing away from the person with.
The Democrats being.
I know what you're talking about. Angela, and he's like, oh fuck, and he's like,
yep.
That's a good one.
But I think it's a lot of that. It's like politics don't exist within a binary, and people like to project their views onto other people, both for and against.
Yeah, that yet again also tiresome.
It is.
It's very tiresome. It is.
It's like, it's crazy, man. Like, people are just people, man. They really are, and the internet really amplifies the divisiveness. And it's like I could talk to you go outside the internet, you start talking to real people. no one brings up political issues like when you're talking in person. You're just like, hey, like what was your last good meal you had, or like who are you sleeping with? People, that's like what people talk about. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know we hear all these stories like, oh, politics at Thanksgiving. I'm going to be honest. Every time I go home for Thanksgiving, I have a very Democrat family and a very Republican family. Nobody fucking talks about politics. Not a single person.
It's probably for the better. Yeah, it's probably for the better.
We watch football, we drink, we eat really good food, and then we go home. And then we never talk to each other until next Thanksgiving.
That sounds like the ideal Thanksgiving.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
So they don't do Thanksgiving up in Canada, but there is a Canadian Thanksgiving.
We have Thanksgiving.
Completely off topic.
Yeah.
What's your Thanksgiving about? Does it have to do with fucking the natives like we did?
No, it's turkey, I guess. Turkey, and we give thanks for the things that we have. It's got nothing to do with, I don't know, the pilgrims or them native people. But yeah, I think it's on a different date too. Let me find out. Canadian,
isn't it coming up?
I don't fucking know, man.
$1 million idea. $1 million idea. I'm gonna start a blanket company. It's gonna be called Smallpox Blankets.
God damn it!
Oh, you're right. It's
gonna be all about.
It's coming up.
Oh, it's right around the corner.
I think you could make a fair bit of money doing that. Just smallpox blankets.
It's called Spread the Love.
Spread the love. Spread the love. You can't call it. You can't just do it straight up small. But it's got to be like pox blankets, you know.
Yeah, but the blankets are really small.
It's like,
yeah.
Like, no, the company. It's not gonna be called Smallpox Blankets. It's gonna be called Smallpox and like a creative like logo. And then people are like, "Oh, did you get a smallpox blanket?"
Clinical. Absolutely clinical. Yep.
Dude, I went this long without being canceled, and here we go.
Yeah.
Today's the day, baby.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
If it's not your...
yeah, okay.
I mean, you're going to get kicked out of Little Italy next time you're there, I think.
Very true.
Those are my people. Those are my people. I'll be okay.
Somehow we kept our sponsors from saying retarded and all types of other stuff.
Talking about dick stuff, I guess.
Yeah, and they share our podcast too. So like our sponsors will like share our podcast. So like
I feel like they don't listen to it. I feel like that's good for us.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I feel it's very good for us. It's a good thing we're not signed with Leviathan. I think that one of these times we yeah.
I would say that with gun culture stuff, everyone tries to make it a point to not be like super politically correct.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of leeway, I would say. You know what I mean? Because it's the whole thing is like who hates us, like the left, they're all about cancel culture. And we do see that sometimes on the right within even gun culture, but it's like the whole goal is to not have the whole cancel culture aspect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a bit we did have people calling us fat phobic and that we fat shame. And I'm gonna, I'm just gonna come out and say it. We had, maybe you weren't considered a co-owner and didn't have access to the page yet, but we pissed off the fucking fat people.
Good.
And,
good.
There was like, we were getting tagged and shit like constantly. That was like, don't support Seaburn art, or before it was like Seaburn dad. they have this fat shaming culture. They think fat people are unhealthy and blah blah blah.
Yes!
And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you guys said it. You guys.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much that has gained traction just like in like everyday life. I was at the doctor.
The fat acceptance thing?
Yeah, I was talking to one of my nurses, and she was asking me if my family has like a history of like diabetes or heart problems. And I'm like, yeah, my dad has diabetes. She's like, oh, or I told her, I'm like, yeah, my dad has diabetes. She's like, oh, what kind? I'm like, I don't know if it's type 1 or type 2. It's a type you get from being fat as fuck. And she was like, well, that's not necessarily, an existing form of diabetes. I'm like, no, he got it from being fat. Like, that's where he got diabetes from. It's that because I know there's one that's like inherent, and then there's one that you get from being fat and lazy. He got the one from being fat and lazy. And she was like, well, it's just kind of like overweight people who might have an eating problem. I'm like, no, he's fat as fuck and he doesn't do shit. Like, that's why he has diabetes.
Her NPC programming was in like full drive. She's like She was like, "These are not the right buzzwords."
Yeah, I didn't realize how much that has gained traction. That you can't call people fat if they're fat.
Yeah, I remember seeing
tough.
a little while ago. It was like a card that you're supposed to present to your doctor, like, "Please do not weigh me. It is bad for my mental health." And
what?
Holy shit!
What?
Yeah. Oh my god! I think
like 1% of fat people actually have a problem to where like they can eat healthy and exercise and they can't like lose weight. I think that's like what this isn't an official statistic, but in my mind, it's like 1% of people. And then 99% of people use an excuse like that. Like, oh, I'm not fat. I'm big boned. I eat healthy. No, you like Lizzo. I fucking can't stand Lizzo. She posts videos all the time of her. She's like, I eat smoothies, I exercise, this is me doing it. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that you are the second heaviest person on the Minnesota Vikings. And the most heavy person is 6'8". I'm sorry, Lizzo. There's a 6'8" athlete on the Minnesota Vikings that weighs more than you, and you weigh more than every single other person on that football team. I'm sorry, you're not healthy.
Holy shit, I did not know that.
You like fat people?
Well, I like it in the idea of that it's like if there's more fat people, then I'm just like that much more of a thoroughbred running around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it brings
it to your advantage.
Up. Like it's less competition, I guess. When when resources are scarce, you have to worry less.
How did our group chat with our editor all of a sudden just spill over into the podcast?
Oh no! I genuinely don't know.
We have a group chat called Fat People Shaming Group, and
it's important to note because, like, at this point, people are like sharpening their pitchforks and fucking coming at us. I think there's a difference between like being a little overweight or being overweight and being obese. Like being genuinely morbidly obese, and I think there's a difference between like being bigger and in shape and being obese and out of shape, or even skinny and out of shape. I think if someone works at themselves and they're a bigger person, by all means, more power to them. I think that's fantastic. And I actually, I do think that people can be bigger and have a hard time losing weight and still, be putting that work in. And, one of my best friends, he's a bigger guy. He always has been. He's got like 50-inch shoulders, built like a football player. And, he eats pretty good, but also the guy can fucking run. He can tackle. He can fight. He can work. He's been an athlete most of his life. And he's a little bigger, and that's okay. He's still healthy. But then I roll up to the grocery store. I walk in, and I see fucking dyed hair, 350-pound they, them, buying fucking Oreos by the cartonful. And, yeah, maybe I've got something a little internalized going on, but I just...
Yeah, I greatly respect heavy people that are attempting to lose weight. I really appreciate and respect.
Like I've been heavier
because they're fucking grinding.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, there's going to be a difference between you're floating around manatee woman versus an NFL lineman. So it's one is a thoroughbred athlete, purpose driven for blocking other thoroughbreds from tackling their quarterback. The other is an Oreo muncher. So there is a difference.
Yeah. So before we, started getting into shaming fat people,
I found the card that we were talking about. Oh yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Please don't weigh me unless
What's it?
It's a business card, and you can buy these from morelove.org. Please don't weigh me unless it's really medically necessary. If you really need my weight, please tell me why, so I can give you my informed consent.
Jesus fucking Christ.
2021, ladies and gentlemen.
God.
2021's almost fucking over, too.
Well,
that one's by fast.
Yeah.
I mean, the last couple of years have just flown the fuck by because there's just been so much shit constantly.
Yeah.
There's just a constant slew of fucked up shit going on everywhere all the time that I feel like, and it's relevant for like a week. And then all of a sudden, nobody fucking cares. Like, nobody fucking cares about Afghanistan and those 12 Marines anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, like, we poured our crayons out in the sand.
Ended. Now
and then all of a sudden, we're focused on the fact that the U.S. might default on its debt. Oh, wait, today we found out we're just going to raise our fucking spending limit, and now nobody cares about that anymore either.
Of
They
course.
didn't default on the debt. They raised the
debt ceiling limit. Oh, of course they did. Yeah. It's going to go on forever.
Yeah. So before we started talking about politics and fat shaming people that deserve to be fat shamed, we were talking about goals and what we were doing. Do you see, like if you could give us some behind the scenes? If not, that's fine too. Keep your fucking secrets, Balaclava man. But what's like a short-term and long-term goal for you for the page and just you in general?
Let's see. Short-term goal, finish the upcoming videos I got in the roster. Long-term goals, I would really like to make some kind of movie to some capacity. That'd be the big one to me, is cranking out more good content, like good entertainment, maybe a TV show, maybe a movie. And if I never get to it, so be it, but it's still gonna be one of my goals, because I wish, like, you ever watch like a Netflix show or anything on like Prime and you're like, man, it's like almost there with like it's got like a good storyline, but like the gun handling isn't there, and it's like certain things are missing, and it's like I wish that we could dial that all together and make for like a good story where it's not something lame, doesn't have to be politically correct, good gun handling. That would be the goal. I wish that we could see that more, and I'd like to contribute to that. I don't think I'm going to be the only person, you know what I mean? I think there are probably bigger players in the game looking to do that, like, and I wish they would, to where it's almost like I would like to see within my lifetime like almost a Netflix for like gun culture, but that would be kind of difficult because pop culture is a much bigger piece of the pie of entertainment and drawing people in. So
I agree.
That'd be kind of a tough one.
Yeah, I think Vet TV kind of did that with like the veteran community.
Mm-hmm. Was that a thing?
I don't think we have Vet TV. I think they're fucking hilarious. A lot of people like shit on it because it is very, very politically incorrect. But I mean, it's fun. I think it's fucking funny. But we don't have something like that in the gun industry. I mean, we have people that do like little clips of it, kind of like yourself. Even Grantham will, have like his storyboards and his funny stuff too. Like the was it World War I or World War II Grantham that he did with the Luger?
Oh, I think it was World War I Grantham.
Yeah. And like scientist Grantham, and has more personalities than fucking that one porn star that plays everybody. Johnny Knox, is that it?
No, I think it's Johnny Sins.
Johnny Sins.
Thank him for his service, sir.
Yeah.
He's an American hero.
Johnny Sins is an American hero.
But
he's
but
like
we don't
Barbie.
have like
he's done every job.
He has. Yeah, the Johnny Sins of the gun world is Grantham. I haven't seen his dick yet. But,
keyword.
But if I ever do, I will let you know if it's similar.
I appreciate that. I think the world needs to know.
Maybe he can become Grand Dick and he can do a video like that with the M1 Grand.
Maybe he pivots into a new adult film industry.
Adult film industry. Pornhub Mike.
Getting into new fields there. Bringing people into the gun industry in a different way.
Yeah.
All right, it's a different angle.
Yeah.
But we don't have like that channel that is like has like movies or like even like TV shows, kind of like what Vet TV did with the veteran community. And I think it'd be really fucking cool to see something similar in the gun community, because there's so much fucking diverse autism that
there is.
We would just have endless content, endless content and endless storyboards.
Yeah. And it's getting easier and easier to do it, I think, just as technology gets trickled down. Like drones replacing helicopters and being able to get shots that you previously would have needed a helicopter or a crane for, being able to crowdfund, being able to film in 4K on fucking cell phones and, DSLRs that fit in your backpack. Everything's getting better. Everything's getting more accessible. And what was that movie that just came out? It was like a YouTube short film, but it was really, really good. It was just made by a bunch of guys. SCP Overlord. Yeah, that I feel like, the more time goes on, the more attainable stuff like, making a pilot for a television show that still had, VFX and, action and choreography and, violence or whatnot. I think it'll be more possible. It's possible now even.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it is. I think the biggest constrictions, of course, are like the time, the money, the effort that goes into it, and all the organization. But I think once you get those big three down, I would love to start seeing that more of, and I'd love to contribute to that to some capacity because I think gun culture is evolving more and more compared to where we just were 6 years ago. Like 2015, like pocket dumps were all the rage. Now we're getting like storylines from a single target of Ron Jeremy's. So it is evolving, and I think evolving for the better, and it's growing. You know what I mean? So that's exciting to say the least.
100%. Holy shit! I just looked up SCP Overlord, and it's got 10 million views now. So that went well.
I think just kind of like the meme culture has kind of taken over and makes it super accessible for gun culture too. Because I wouldn't call what you did throwing that fucking, was it a high point that you threw at the Ron Jeremy target?
Yeah, it was a high point carbine.
That's awesome. Yeah, was that a Mike's old high point carbine?
No, that was a new one. I saw that Mike had one, and I asked my ad guys. I was like, "Hey, can you please send me a high point carbine so I can meme Grantham?"
That's amazing.
Like, of course.
That's so fucking amazing.
Yeah, but you did like a 3 or 4 second clip, and something like that is going to get a fuck ton of views and interaction because it's fucking hilarious. It's short, it's quick, it's like a GIF almost, or a meme. I don't know, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but just like those little things that you're doing are influencing gun culture and kind of like bringing it to, because we always talk about gun culture 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. I think the memes and the GIFs and the stuff, not just you, so it doesn't sound like I have your fucking nuts in my mouth or something, but the things that you are doing are kind of like that 0.5 that's getting us to that next level. And I think that is what's going to start influencing even more people to start getting involved.
That's exciting to me. Thank you very much for that. That would be very cool. I like to touch on that clip. I pretty much gave up posting any form of like 60-second Instagram video and just focus on short, funny clips. I just find that they can draw people in so much better than say a drawn out 60-second clip. So that's if anyone's out there, it's like I want to start posting gun clips. I'm like on Instagram, give up like anything long form, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, people go to Instagram for very different reasons, I think.
Yeah. So that's I keep all my long form for YouTube. So, but
no, and I think that's important to understand and know your audience on different platforms. It's really cool to be a part of and witness that transition to that next gun culture, because it started out like basic fuddery, essentially. That 1.0 we talk about, it's just FUDs, like essentially FUD shit. And then everybody's like, okay, plate carriers and nods are cool now. Fuck the ATF and fuck tax stamps, and now we're transitioning into like making digestible content for literally everyone. Like, because somebody who's not into guns can see what you did throwing that fucking high point through Ron Jeremy and laugh at that,
Right.
Anybody can look at that. Some people might look at it and be like, holy shit, that gun's going to just start murdering everybody because he threw and didn't have control over it. But it has a very wide audience. And I think that's super important when it comes to just the conversation around guns, And obviously guns aren't toys, but you can still have fun with them. And I think throwing shit at Ron Jeremy is fun.
Right. I mean, it's a very serious topic that firearms exist within, because ultimately the whole goal is for it to end lives. But once you have the safety and the basics down, it's like, all right, cool. We're playing big boy rules, guns clear, like verify. All right, we're taking a funny clip. That's essentially how it rolls on the range. If we're doing any sort of sketchy filming, it's like I show my camera guy, I'm like, all right, unload, clear, show safe. He knows, he verifies, and it's like, all right, we're going to do this. And so there is like a off-camera safety, but the goal is like, okay, yeah, I want to bring in, elevate gun culture, because it's like, like you're saying, it's like, all right, we had the 1.0, the FUD culture, the elitist kind of culture of, all right, we only care about revolvers, and ironically, probably like, I don't know, M14s or M16s, like the old style stuff, they're all pretty cool. But anyway, and then, you have people like T-Rex Arms, who was like always crusading, talking about plate carriers and nods. And then it was kind of like I wanted to not take the as serious approach and just worry about like having fun and reminding people like, hey, you can still have a blast when you go out and shoot. Like, yes, you should be training for your end of the times, civil unrest, like you could be getting killed scenarios, but ultimately when you're out there at the range with your boys, that's like some of the best times
No,
as
absolutely.
like when you're existing, you know what I mean? So that's what I look forward to the most still. Even now that it's technically my job, I still love going out to the range and hanging out with guys and just shooting. Now that's like the best part, man.
That's a good way of looking at it. That's my favorite part, honestly, just going out with the lads.
Well, I think there's an appropriate content creator for the serious stuff. Like, hey, go out, train. This is how you should train. These are some drills that you can do. And then there's also that side, like you talked about literally just having fun, because at the end of the day, we can train, prepare, do everything that we want, but ultimately guns are fucking fun to us.
Yeah.
And they're fun to a lot of people. I mean, you go and shoot a Mark 19 and you're just having a grand fucking time. Maybe after you put a couple rounds to it, you might start being like, okay, let me, focus on some, target distance engagement, focus on some shot placement, or just like terrain denial, whatever. But like when you're shooting a gun, you're having fucking fun because it's a fun experience, and it should be. We shouldn't lose that fun when it comes to it, because I mean, it's a fucking gun. It goes boom. You can hang out with your boys and blow stuff up together. Like, that is some of the most fun shit that I think you can do.
I agree.
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go out with you, Balaclava, and just mag dump an MP5 a bunch. Just, it seems fun. I've never got to have the pleasure.
I don't think I've actually had as much fun mag dumping MP5s than I had with any other gun. It was probably the most fun gun to shoot. It's like recoil set to 0 and you just get to run around with this fun little sub gun. It's like seeing the face of God, gentlemen, if I'm being honest.
I just want to do that. I just want to do that. Just let's go mag dump into trash somewhere. Let's get a bunch of Ron Jeremys and just I live vicariously through a lot of your videos.
I know you're on a podcast, but it's like I'm doing the touches face meme where it's like,
yes.
So for a clip, I want to get the background and insight to one of your clips.
Mm-hmm.
The 50 cal, and then is it the MP5 that runs up?
Yep.
Are you shooting at something? Like, are you doing legit training, or are you just fucking like shooting into whatever the fuck? Like, just not giving a fuck about recoil and just being like boom, 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 and then MP5 right up in that gun.
I'm actually aiming at. So yeah, I was aiming at the Ron Jeremys because we had it set up like a 2-2-2-4 drill.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yep. So I just went from target to target to target, doing my best to like kind of look through and look over the scope because we're pretty close to targets. So
did you hit them
for that one? I think so. If we're being honest, some things you gotta do to look good for camera. Other things we do good to actually train. One of those things was, all right, you're gonna shoulder fire this Barrett, and it's gonna be hard and fast. And it's like, all right, here we go.
So do you plan out those little clips? Like, did you plan on him, or was that? I don't know who the fuck is who because of, Balaclava, but you mag dumped the fucking Barrett, and then somebody ran up with. I think it was an MP5. Is that planned and coordinated? Like, you're like, okay, we're going to make a 5-second clip or a 10-second clip. This is what we're going to do. This is the process of it. Let's fucking do it. Or is it just something that happens?
Yes and no. Sometimes I, pre going to the range, I'll think of, clips that I think could have some legs on Instagram that make for good, quick captures. Other times it's like you're out filming and then it's like, all right, cool. Hey, let's try this real quick. And we film it and it looks really good. And it's all fast and kinetic. And I think it keeps people interested because that's really what you're fighting for on the internet is just a whole bunch of short attention spans.
Yeah. Everyone is fucking ADHD these days. Literally everyone.
It's literally awful.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like, the people listening are like driving, looking at their phone, listening to this, doing something else. Like, you're constantly fighting for people's attention span.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, as far as like game planning I typically do stuff very loose and fast. I'll try and like get a rough baseline and outline of what I want to go film. And then usually when we get out there, it's like, all right, let's try this, this, and this. And I'll think of anything else and much go from there. So it's not like a well choreographed dance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of cool though, because some stuff might be like scripted, but honestly, you're just going out there and, from what it sounds like, just having fucking fun. And like we just talked about, having fun is I mean, you're shooting guns. You should be having fun. It shouldn't never not be fun shooting guns unless you're in the army and you're told that you have to and you're not having fun anymore.
Right. Government work can typically ruin just about anything, including shooting guns, I'm sure. So, yeah, I can't imagine that they can just about ruin everything, can't they?
It's fucking awful. I've never not had fun shooting a Mark 19 except for when I was in the army. Like the first time I shot it, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm shooting a Mark 19. And then all of a sudden they made it like the worst fucking range of all time. And I'm like, I don't even want to do this anymore. It's hot. Why do I have to be in full battle rattle coming up to shoot this? And they're like, train how you fight. And I'm like, bitch, I've been to Afghanistan before. I wasn't in my plate carrier the entire fucking time. I took my fucking helmet off. You want to know why? Because it's hot as fuck. It's heavy and my body hurts. All right. Let me just shoot a fucking Mark 19 and enjoy it so I actually get something out of it, as opposed to just like, oh, let me just fucking shoot, I guess,
Yeah.
You're just sitting there regretting all your life choices. Oh, God.
No.
I feel that. It's I just remember, like, the first time I ever did my belt fed quals, I was really, 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 really hyped. Oh, yeah, we finally get to shoot machine guns. Oh, I've been lugging these things around for, like, months. Let's go shoot. And by the end of the day, I just hated them. I hated them.
Yeah, it's just fucking...
And the very end, it's like, all right, guys, we signed for X amount of ammo and we've used half of it. You need to use everything else on this table because we don't want to do the paperwork of handing it back. And it just ruined the experience of full autos. Genuinely.
I have like little influence of making ranges a little bit more fun because I'm, a little bit higher up there now to the point where people like respect my opinion and I can run my own range sometimes. But man, dude, if I could take fucking Ron Jeremy and put him as fucking targets out at like a military range, for starters, range control would shut me the fuck down. They'd be like, absolutely fucking not. But if I were allowed to, I can only imagine how much fun people would have just by that.
Yeah.
That's so sad. It's so sad for them to take something so fun and sacred and just to ruin it.
Just fucking absolutely ruin it.
For no reason.
Yeah.
No reason at all.
Just hate fun.
Anyways.
But fuck me if you want to enjoy your job, right?
Yeah. Hey, you're in the army. You're not getting paid to fucking enjoy yourself, Where did the name come from, Administrative Results?
So I used to be Executive Outcomes. Executive Outcomes was the real one was a mercenary group, for those that don't know, was a mercenary group from South Africa started by Eben Barlow. It took a lot of former guys from Angola, Rhodesia, a lot of the old soldiers. Was renowned as like the best mercenary group of its day. It had allegations of war crimes, but of course it's like whatever. So they're still relatively pretty cool. But that's where I took the name from. But then Eben Barlow, he came back out of retirement and he started back Executive Outcomes up again, and I was like, well, I don't want like Eben to be associated with flat range LARPer from America, and I think it felt like the more right thing to do, and so I changed the name to Administrative Results, which is like a nod to Executive Outcomes. It's literally just like the first two synonyms that pop up when you type in Executive Outcomes. It's literally the first two synonyms of Executive Outcomes. So I was like, all right, that works, and it'd be like a fun little nod to it. Because essentially it's how I started, so I figured you'd keep credit where credit is due. And then it kind of works out because it's like you're playing within like the fictional Blood Diamond universe, so it's like the fictional mercenary company. So, and it's essentially exactly how the name came about, actually. Yeah.
So what I thought that you were like one of those S-shop nerds who really like guns in their personal time, and like Administrative Results, like you're like the admin people in the military, but you're out there showing like admin shit can be cool. That was my take on it. So that was fucking wrong. When did you get into guns? Like, was there a point in your life? Like, I tell a story all the time. My stepdad gave me a .22 rifle when I was like 3-4 years old and was like, this is yours now. And taught me gun responsibility and safety and how to have fun with a gun. What was that moment for you? I feel like everybody kind of has one.
I definitely remember my first gun. I think I got it when I was 9 for Christmas. My two older brothers bought me a .22. I can see it right now. I'm looking at it because it doesn't fit in the safe anymore.
Oh yeah.
There's a weird flex, but a lot of guns in my safe. But that was like the first gun, and I think what really set off like probably like the gun autism was, growing up in high school
gun
playing a lot of
autism.
airsoft. Because I mean, oh yeah, dude, it's like my wife would be like, "What are you thinking about?" And I'm like, "I'm thinking about guns. It's always guns."
I feel that.
yeah.
That is such an attack.
It's like never not guns.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like
It's
it's just so hard to explain. It's like I'm thinking of this gun that I want to build and that gun I want.
Just like, oh, should I get this full power IR laser or this full power IR laser? Oh no, well, how will I run this pressure pad? Oh, should I get a mod button light or a regular one? I don't know. Just always.
That's pretty spot on. That's very spot on. But
like,
I think growing up and
lying in bed thinking about how a build will go together. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. I was gonna say, just like growing up playing airsoft, I think that's a big feeder.
Oh, hey, you can't say that. You're gonna get made fun of. You're not a real. That's not real training. You can't do that.
You can make fun of me every day of the week, buddy. It's like I compare airsoft to having sex with fat girls. No one wants to get caught doing it, but it still feels fun. You know what I mean? So, but no, that I think that played a big part of it because it's like you're researching these airsoft guns, kind of like how they work with real guns, and then you're like doing force on force as like a young kid. And then, of course, you always think, like, I'm going to buy a real gun one day. And then, of course, you take the leap of snagging a real rifle, and it's like, oh, I've arrived. And you start watching, Travis Haley doing 2-2-2-4 drills from back in the day. And then it starts progressing. And I think I can't remember. I remember getting my first gun as like a very definitive moment. And then my brother showed me how to shoot. But then outside of that, it's just like the slow moving lava of life and all these culminating factors. Oh, and video games. Video games are a big one,
Video games are probably my red pill, I guess, into all of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Modern Warfare 2. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Yes. Grew up playing Modern Warfare 2. Those chat lobbies made you from a man or a boy to a man. So
I learned so many racist slurs in Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
So they could not survive today, dude.
No.
Everyone would have been banned.
See, everybody always says that. Like, I see that meme, and people that didn't experience it are like, cringe, boomer. And I'm like, no, dude, like, I'm being serious. I remember coming home, being so fucking excited from coming home, and I had just gotten internet at the house, and being like, I'm going to boot up the Xbox 360, play Modern Warfare with my fucking friends, and just the toxicity. And I was a part of it. I was one of those squeaky voice little fucking weirdos.
Oh, yes.
That would just be like, go fuck yourself, you fucking weirdo.
Oh,
get fucked. Your ass.
Dual Winchester 1897's faggot. And you're like, oh, yeah, let's go.
Yep.
Oh, my God. I was not allowed to play online games. And somehow that... I just never did. Here I am as a grown-ass adult, and my first one was Warzone. And
you didn't get to experience Modern Warfare 2 at its peak?
I didn't. I didn't.
That was prime video game.
Yeah.
Prime video game experience.
Wasn't allowed to
it's
play
like
online. Just wasn't. I got consoles kind of as a rule, like 1.5 generations behind when they came out. So even when I played Modern Warfare 2, it was at my friend's house. And when I eventually bought it and replayed it, like I was a grown-ass adult, I'd moved out and I didn't have any time for online games like a fucking sucker. So,
dude, that was like...
Yeah, I missed that entire part of my childhood, and then I never got into it until Warzone, which you can attest to how much I suck at Warzone.
Dude, it was like... That was like the first generation that truly grew up with like the internet that was able to interact and engage with others. Because like obviously people grew up with the internet before that with like AIM, which I still used, but that was like the peak of people on like for the first time getting to talk with people and be super competitive in a game that involves like death and like shooting and guns. And it was so fucking toxic.
Yeah.
Like you would be playing like that was like the beginning of like meme culture too, because you would have people like playing search and destroy, trying to like defuse a bomb, and somebody that has like the perk ninja would like run up, literally like fuck their body while they're planting the bomb, and then just like go prone literally inside them. And as soon as they plant it and run off and go and try to like hide and like protect the bomb, you're already defusing it. Like it was like, and then as soon as that happens, you're like, get fucked, pussy, you suck.
Oh my God, it's so true. It's like
it was so fun. You missed out.
That was like, that was like our indoctrination to the internet was like back in 2009. That's like, 2009 when Modern Warfare 2 came out. You know
I
what
think
mean?
so,
Like,
yeah.
Because they had Modern Warfare before that, but I just remember for whatever reason Modern Warfare 2 sticking out and being just like especially toxic.
Oh, because you had noob tubes. You had one-man army noob tubes. When I figured out how to do that, when I figured out that I could get a Harrier, Predator Missile Harrier, Chopper Gunner off the fucking rip, it was game over. Game over.
Dude.
I was so fucking toxic.
Oh, you're speaking my language. That's where it's at.
Yeah, I miss those days. That was like RuneScape too. I don't know if you guys played RuneScape, but that was a big
everyone
thing.
I knew played RuneScape, but I never got into it. It high fantasy, and I never really sat well. I tried to get into it, but couldn't.
RuneScape and Modern Warfare 2 were like the peak. If I like peak moments with my friends, and even by myself, like if my friends weren't on, I would still be talking shit into like some shitty Turtle Beaches to like some fucking other like middle schoolers.
Oh, Turtle Beaches.
Yeah. Just fucking toxic.
Fucking got the Gucci shit.
Oh, dude. It's like, and then, did you ever play Minecraft?
Yeah, I played Minecraft a little bit. I never got like, too deep into it, but I did play it.
Pun intended. Yeah. No, I loved Minecraft, bro. So it's like you're playing Call of Duty, and then after you're done with your toxic warfare, you go back and retire to your peaceful farm, and you start mining your wheat. Oh, dude, that's where it was at.
It was a different time, because even like nowadays, like you play like Warzone or Call of Duty, and like it's toxic in a different way. It's toxic in an annoying way. It's just full of like cheaters and like people doing like stupid shit. Like nobody's nobody's talking to each other unless it's like your own like friends. But back then you would talk shit to the entire fucking lobby. Be like, don't fucking skip this map. No, I'm going to fucking skip this map just because you were being a fucking dick. And just like
saying, it just escalates and gets worse.
And then all of a sudden racial like slurs just start coming out. You heard somebody that sounded maybe black or Mexican, and all of a sudden like the most terrible shit was just getting thrown out at them.
Oh yeah.
Holy
it was
shit.
Like they would speak and it's like, wrong move, bucko.
It was the worst. It was the worst fucking culture, but man, it was so fucking fun.
I miss it.
Couldn't get away with that shit nowadays.
No.
They would record you, find your IP address, and expose you online. CNN would pick up the story and be like, Call of Duty is racist.
I know. God, that's the some of those news outlets, man, are so predictable now too, like Vice and CNN.
Yeah. Oh man, I took my dad for a drive of all people earlier, and he turns on the radio and he puts it on CBC, just the news, and I just turn it off, and he goes, "What? It's just the news," and I look at him. Well, don't you want to be informed? No. It's do you, and I bring this up a lot. The exact quote is, do you want to be uninformed or misinformed? And I would rather be uninformed at this point, genuinely.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss, and I'd want to have the right information.
Yeah.
So I like where your head's at with that. So
yeah.
Why the baklava or baklava?
Why the baklava?
Well, I mean, baklava, I don't see why not. It's a delicious pastry.
Sorry, I'm a little drunk.
No, it's okay. I'll be with you there soon. It's 5:00 where I'm at. So the balaclava was essentially just protecting my identity. I didn't want the place where I worked to have any leverage over me if they found my content on the internet. So to secure myself from that, I was like, well, I could just hide my identity, my personal identity. And I was still found out by like some of my coworkers or some of my friends that knew it was me, of course. But for the most part, it was just pretty much that reason. I didn't want them to be able to like, hey, stop filming, you can't do that, or cause me any personal issues. I just wanted to make fun gun videos uninfringed and not have a negative effect on my personal life, essentially what it was.
Did it work?
Yeah, honestly, that's a good friggin' call. I honestly keep most of this stuff secret from basically everyone I know here. Both of you are on my Instagram, and I haven't posted anything since friggin' 2017 for much the same reason. I don't really want people from my personal life knowing I'm into all this shit. And,
yeah,
it makes the drone strike that much more. Kind of, actually, a lot. Most people.
I'm not asking you. I don't fucking care about you, Nathan.
I care about Nathan. Yeah, but it worked. I would definitely say it worked.
Yeah.
I didn't get any hassle from the higher ups at my job from when I was still there because I didn't get any hassle from them. I managed to get a clean break when it was time to quit due to the mandatory vaccine. So it all worked out. And even personal life, a lot of my friends, they still thought I was at my old job, but they're like, "What are you doing now?" And I was like, "Well, it may depending how well I like them, I could be like, oh, I'm in marketing," or be like, "Oh, well, I'm actually a YouTuber." I remember it was actually a funny story. I'll share this. It's related to a sad story, but essentially my dad passed away back in February.
I'm so sorry.
So
that's
thanks, man. Thanks. But we were spreading his ashes at a family cabin in New York, and I was visiting some of my family, and I was telling them how I quit where I worked and everything like that. And they're like, "What are you doing now?" I was telling my uncle, and I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this like YouTube thing. It's doing really good. Has a lot of potential." And he was like looking at me like, "Hey, it's okay, buddy. You'll get through this." You think I was gonna be homeless? And I was like, "All right, cool." He's that traditional like old Italian he's like 70 years old. He's like very traditional like workplace, good work ethic, and I'm over here like making internet videos. It's my full-time job now, so
yeah.
I could see the disconnect, but
I'm glad that keeping your animosity worked for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it now, but I at one point not recently, within the last year, Nathan, I don't remember when, but within the last year, the FBI showed up at work for me and wanted to talk to me about social media.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about the details about it, or I will maybe one day. But I wasn't able to keep my animosity, and that's kind of why I've come out and stopped giving a fuck.
Yeah,
because people figured out who I was. The FBI figured out who I was, and they wanted to come talk to me about social media.
Yeah, they'll fucking figure out who anyone is.
Fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
Creepy as fuck with some of the things they were saying. But anyways, we'll get into that maybe when I'm not working for the government.
Might be a good idea.
Yeah. That one sounds like a good listen.
Yeah. that episode is going to be doozy.
But I am glad that your animosity has been something that you're able to keep, because
I think we're using the wrong word. I know we've been saying animosity this entire time. Animosity means just like a hostile feeling towards someone. I think you mean anonymity.
Anonymity.
Yes.
He's so angry. Why is he so angry?
No, anonymity. Listen, this is like the first time I've been drinking. Well, no, I drank for the last podcast. It's like the second time I've ever been drinking in like years.
Yeah.
Since Nashville, Tennessee, I think, actually. And that was like 2 or 3 years ago. But I am glad that you've been able to keep your personality and like who you are kind of under wraps a little bit, because I think it adds even more like lore and value to it, and it kind of like keeps people interested. I don't think people have necessarily lost interest since they've learned like my name's Mitch, your name's Nathan. They've seen my face maybe over at Mirror Safety or something. I don't know, but I do feel like keeping your say it, Nathan.
Say again.
Anonymity.
Not animosity. Anonymity.
Yeah. I'm fucking retarded and I can't really say that word. But
we all are.
Is important, and I think is there ever going to come a point where you take the balaclava off?
Yeah, I think I always told myself that if I were to get like a guest appearance on the Grantham channel, I would do like an unmasking and then probably have like a background video ready to go. It's probably how I thought about doing it.
Yeah.
I just know it's not gonna last forever. If I want to keep doing this, I think it would be just I weigh it. Like I do like the idea of being able to maintain my privacy, but I mean, ultimately with this gig and like the deal you make with the devil of like niche micro internet fame is you're going to lose some of your privacy. So I kind of understand that. But yeah, I do think, it will happen where I eventually will go public. But for now, I mean, it's around the corner. I have no technical real reason. It's like I always thought someone was going to dox me and like leak my info, and it's going to be like, oh, well, here I am. But thankfully that hasn't happened yet. Yeah. But I was kind of prepared for it, so it's kind of like, yeah, whatever.
It's kind of a pleasant surprise when people don't, start leaving packages of shit in your doorstep.
Right. Yeah, that's why I want my own like ranch too. Like that'd be kind of cool, but have a little bit more privacy. But
yeah, that's the end goal, I think, for a lot of us.
Yeah, I would like to get my own little like Waco compound minus the weird cult activities. That'd be kind of the dream.
You could just embrace the cult. Like we were talking about it. Just hey, we're all going to move down to the mountains and have some homesteads and a big parcel of land. And we'll put gongs on each other's roofs so we can just wake each other up by shooting them.
Yeah,
or join right by the windows just in case you really have to wake them up.
Come hang out with us. I'm gonna put a Night Force NXS on a fucking Mosin.
He's not joking too.
I legitimately am putting a Night Force on a Mosin.
What's wrong with you?
Listen,
I love the idea of that.
It's gonna be fucking great. But you're more than welcome to come hang out with us. But maybe for your face reveal, you can have Task Force 69 and Task Force 420 maybe work together on defeating a common enemy.
A little joint op on Osama bin Ron Jeremy.
Mike, if you're listening, this idea will cost you 5% of the ad revenue that you get.
Yeah.
Said
it here first. TM.
Yep, TM. We said it here first. This is our fucking idea. You can take it. We just get 5%.
Yes. It's legal now. I'm sure a lawyer will hear this podcast at some point. This is legal.
What? There's a lawyer in the background. I'm watching him write it up right now.
He's writing it up.
Perfect. Yeah.
So if you try and take this fucking idea, Mike, I swear to fucking God.
Get him. You get him. You better listen.
Yeah, if you take this idea, we're going to be your next big enemies. We're going to join Ron Jeremy.
Oh. We should make a character Ron Jeremy.
We should.
Ron Jeremy as a character. Didn't he just get convicted of like sexual assault or something?
Yeah, I think he
Yeah, I think 9,000%, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
turns out tough. He's not as much of a funny meme boy as we thought he was.
That's tough for Ron.
Yeah. Well, shouldn't have kidnapped, evil Macaulay Culkin.
You shouldn't have done Macaulay Culkin Hitler's bidding.
What is...
He was just following orders.
He was just following fucking orders. What is your favorite gun that you own?
Favorite gun that I own is my Blood Diamond carbine. Hands down.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a very good one.
That's a good one.
That's tough. My second would probably be my Space AK.
Your Space AK? That I haven't seen. I'm gonna go lurk.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Space AK.
Grab.
It's like it was inspired, like a quasi-inspired from the Elysium gun, like the Elysium AK, with the airburst rounds. I sound like whenever I talk about it, like I'm a grown man, but I still feel like autistic when I talk about it. It's
we're all gun autists. Oh my god!
Yeah,
your high
point. We all are.
Do you have a fucking ACOG on your high point?
No, I had. Oh yeah, I did actually put a Trichicon on ACOG on the high point.
That's so fucking clinical.
That's
so
gonna
good. That's gonna be like the baby version of my Mosin with the Knife Force.
Yes.
God, I've had to talk so many people out of buying high point carbines because before those videos went live. Because here they cost a lot more than they do in the States. They're like $500-$600 plus tax.
Wait, why did the shit guns in Canada cost more than the shit guns here in the US minus a high point? Because like a Mosin in fucking Canada, every time I speak to anybody in Canada, they're like, oh yeah, you can pick one up for like $200, eh? And I'm like, here they're like $500 fucking dollars for no reason. They're fucking garbage rods.
No import restrictions. They're still importing them. Oh, that is a nice AK. That is a very nice AK. I like that a lot.
Thank you, sir.
I
built that.
Are you an AK or an AR guy?
I'd say I'm an AR guy first, and then an AK guy second.
Oh, you go both ways, eh?
I swing both ways on the carbine spectrum.
In the future, do you see you expanding your crew to more than just? Because right now you said it's just you and the person that films, correct?
Yes.
Do you see yourself expanding that and kind of becoming more of like a CEO, business owner type deal?
I don't know. I think it'd be cool to scale it up. I would like to bring on, more guests on the channel before I start taking on like employees per se. I know like a big influential person is like Lucas Bakken in the gun community, but he's like very business orientated. He's always talking about the business side. I'm not necessarily worried about the business aspect yet, nor would I consider myself a good businessman. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting like some more employees if this thing were really grown and there was a need for them. But as it stands right now, I don't really have like a need unless it was like I wanted someone to put out dedicated content on like they're like a subject matter expert on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm like spitballing here if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it does.
Well, I don't think Lucas didn't start as like, the CEO entrepreneur, even though Kyle is a true CEO of T-Rex Arms.
Kyle always has been.
Yeah, Kyle always has run that shit over there. But Lucas, I mean, he talks about it often. Like he wishes he could go out and shoot as much as he used to, but now he's handling a lot of the business side stuff. And I think while that probably takes away from the amount of fun that he can have, because he's not just out just shooting all the time anymore, I think it opens the door for a lot more opportunity to do more quality fun shit, like that airsoft event that him and the folks over at Haley Strategic just did. Like that is
what was that? Copperhead? That looked fun.
I think
that looked really fun.
Yeah,
dude, that was
it
was
you
a
there?
blast, man. It was so much fun.
You were there?
Lucky.
I was, yes, dude. It was a blast. It was so much fun.
Which side were you on? Were you on T-Rex or Haley?
I was on Haley's side. So the Haley Strategic guys essentially got me in for free. So I was able to tag along that way.
How much does Copperhead cost?
Like $200, I want to say.
Huh.
So,
we've been talking,
but I was Green Team's best player though, because I killed a lot of tan guys by accident. So.
Nathan, we should go as just like a 2-man sniper crew, just you and me. We're our own fucking team.
We're our own team. Oh fuck! You know what? Sure, just show up totally unannounced. Like, don't pay the field fees. Just climb the fence at the border.
Except we'll use live rounds.
Call your head.
Yeah, if we hit somebody and they don't actually raise their hand and like leave, we'll just start loading live rounds. That's so good. That's a joke.
Yes,
anyways,
that is very much a joke.
Not
just for legal reasons. It is entirely a joke.
It is entirely a joke. As you were saying about Copperhead,
I did go and pick up an airsoft gun for doing this stuff, and I will bring it with me stateside.
Do it, dude. Airsoft's actually a bunch of fun.
It seems like a lot of fun. It genuinely does.
The event was nuts because it's like people bought thousands of dollars worth of pyrotechnics to use on each other.
Holy shit!
And like literally, you'd be like walking around the field and hear pop, 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 boom, 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 like in the distance, like pops and then booms, and like it's just people dumping like frags, and each frag costs like $8 to $10.
Holy shit!
So every time that's going off, it's like that's just like the base ones. And then the guys running 203s, that's like $10 per. Like it's expensive, man. So it's like every time one's going off, it's like essentially $10. It's like boom, 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 boom. You're just like, all right. It was a bunch of fun though, man. It was. I cannot stress like it's a fun experience as long as you go with the mindset to have fun. Because I mean, there's cringe sides of both cultures, but
yeah, I feel like there always will be. Like
oh yeah. I mean, if there's people, there will be the cringe.
Yeah. Especially like the more you get into any community, like the more hardcore you get into any community, the more cringe people will get, and that's totally okay. It's just unavoidable, really. But I remember I ran a CQB day with a bunch of dudes here, like practice.
Is that the one that you were running?
No.
It's not that one. Okay,
no,
sorry.
Like they had a bunch of nods and cool Gucci shit, and I show up in like jeans with my fucking Slickster and like a very old gun that had been sitting at the bottom of someone's drawer for like 6 years, and we're practicing button hooks. I'm showing what I know and whatnot, and there was one guy comes out and he's like, "Oh, I don't get why we're doing this. Like I put thousands of dollars of gear, like money into this gear, so I wouldn't have to learn anything. I just shoot them. That's what's always worked for me." It's like, all right. That's okay.
What?
And he looked exactly like you'd expect, like 350 pounds, like walks out of the crowd wearing like white phosphorus duals with like just clapped the fuck out, but like the same bad attitude and kind of. He looked like someone who would say that. That's all I'll say.
Oh man. Well, it's like reality is gonna hit that guy hard.
Yeah.
That's all I pretty much would say. That's people, man.
So you're quietly involved with all of these people. You were at Copperhead, and yet you still don't consider yourself within the same realm as them. And I just want to really emphasize to you that I think that you are. I didn't even know that before going into it. But when you got to Copperhead, I've only heard great things about the event. A little birdie told me that Drew Hopkins is one of the more authentic people that they have met before. Did you get a chance to interact with him?
I did, actually. He's a really good dude. I know that he has been more controversial on social media lately. But I think that's just social media amplifying, the barking dogs that are all chained up. But once you actually meet people in real life, it's like, oh, it's like a dude like me who has the same interests, like a cool dude. I enjoyed talking to him. I had good conversations with him. He's a really nice guy. Seems really down to earth. So that to me is like, I can see where social media side of things can come into play. Where like, oh, you said this, or I didn't agree with that, and it's like, okay, well, hey, he's still a dude. He's out here, with the same beliefs and mindsets about, majority of everything that we all have.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're all here to have fun. We all love guns, right? We all have that in common.
Yeah. I feel like
great conversation
a lot
with
of
him.
people take comments on the internet way more seriously than they should.
Yeah, I think people ignore nuance. Nuance is something that's lost in life, and especially on the interwebs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And I think when you gotta meet people in real life, that definitely helps out a lot.
Screens
it's
really,
good to know.
Yeah, they make everything seem a lot more serious and pointed than they actually are.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of noise. People want to cut through the noise too, so they start getting a little bit more boisterous and Yeah,
it's good to know. You're one of many people that have just confirmed that a couple people that we have briefly chatted with on the internet are, legitimately kind people. And I always ask people, just because I'm always curious on people's experience. Like we ask everybody, like, what was your favorite person in the gun industry? Who's your least favorite? So I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's your favorite and least favorite person in the gun industry?
Favorite person, I'll probably say I probably look up to, and I think you could definitely see it in my style the most, but of course would be, Mike of Garantham. I do really enjoy Travis Haley, and I really look up to him, but just like the style and personality, I've always felt more drawn to Mike in that aspect. And then least favorite, I'll Kobayashi Maru it and stay Swiss, but probably myself. You know what I mean? It's like,
really,
we always have that internal struggle with yourself, and like, am I putting out there good enough? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? I would never want to be like, I don't really think I have any hate towards anybody else.
What a pussy answer.
You big bitch.
There's got to be somebody. You don't have to say. I'm not going to press you into saying it.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
I don't want to chicken out. There's truly not anyone that I was like, I don't like that person. They're my least favorite. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Everyone's out here doing their own thing. We're all trying to contribute, as long as it's not like, I'd say probably my least favorite person is that dude from, I don't know, Detroit Training. He's
I don't know who that is.
He's the one that's always doing, like, he has like a weird earpiece, and he's like, your safety tip. And he's like wearing a weird sweater vest. You'll know when you see it. But I always, for whatever reason, see his stuff. And I'm like, none of this is like good sound advice. Like, you're gonna get someone killed.
Yeah.
Like, he's using the airsoft guns. Someone out there, one of your audience guys knows who I'm talking about. But I'll give you like a real answer and go with him if that makes you feel any better.
It does. We don't like to contribute to the gun industry drama because there's way too much fucking man drama that happens. Much of
it. And every time we we associate with anyone, it's like, oh, you like X person, oh, you like Y person. Like, we like everyone. Like, basically everyone we've talked to has been great. And like, oh, didn't you hear, like, in this time on this day they did this? Like, no, I didn't, and I also don't really care.
Fucking care.
It's like a good thing you guys don't have access to my Modern Warfare 2 chat lobby.
Holy fuck!
I think all of us would get canceled on that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay.
I mean,
I know
all of us
people
would get
mess
canceled
up
for shitting on fat people. So
Oh yeah, I forgot that we shit on the fat people today.
I wonder how much
really?
PR should edit that.
No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. I want them to know my thoughts and feelings about them. Unless you're actively trying to fix yourself. If you're
Yes.
trying to make yourself a better person, I have the utmost respect for you.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, as long as you're a good person, I don't really care. It's like,
yeah, I mean, you can be fat, and I don't really mind. It's when you're fat and you try to say that you're healthy and try to tell other people to do what you do.
Make decisions for other people, which the two are correlated. Often.
You're just doing fat gaslighting.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fat, but I'm healthy. Yeah, it's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
You know what we should do, actually? Next time there's Copperhead, we should just make like a clusterfuck bumblefuck group. You know, the people that are like the T-Rex Arms, the Travis Haley groups, you know, and whatever other groups are there. We should just make our own. That's like, hey, we're not all a part of the same fucking thing, but we're just going to team up and make our own little like bumblefuck tactical
Task Force
airsoft
96.
group.
There we go.
Task Force 96.
Task Force 96.
Task Force 96, 96,020.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, dude. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You will crush it, man. You'll absolutely be the blitzkrieg stormtroopers of the field. Tip of the spear.
Just straight up autism. Just running around, being fucking terrible.
So basically what we already do.
Essentially. Yeah. You can have a high... Does... High Point should make airsoft guns. That's what they should do.
They should.
Yeah, they should.
I don't think I've seen anyone shit on High Point more than High Point themselves, though. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, they have a good sense of humor.
I like that. I really respect that, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it more fun and more enjoyable.
Yeah. But I remember one of my last times, because I used to work for an airline, and I'd fly into Washington all the time. I went down to a little store, and it was like in the basement of an anime shop, and it was a gun store. It was Herndon Arms, I think. Herndon. It was super close to Washington Dulles Airport. It's like an hour walk away from my hotel. And I just went there and shot the shit with the owner. Super cool fucking guy. I'm going to show him, even though he's never going to hear this. And he had a High Point on his shelf. And this is like what it was like at the time. It was a High Point. I think he had it listed for $90. And I asked him about it, and he goes, yeah, I couldn't fucking give this thing away. It's just a piece of shit. Some old lady came in and sold it to me for peanuts, and it's just there for the meme, essentially. And how things have fucking changed.
An old lady bought a High Point?
No, she sold him the High Point, I think.
Yeah, but she would have had to buy it at one point.
She would have bought it at some point, or I don't know how she got her hands on a High Point. But yeah, this was like mid 2019, I want to say. Maybe late 2018. I don't remember. No, it was really nice out. It was either summer of 2018 or summer of 2019. Yeah. But and now they're like
I got one final
there's
question
actually
for
demand
you.
for them.
Ahead,
I think most of that demand is just the meme.
It's the meme.
People want High Points now, if for no other reason than to.
I think it's the same thing with the Mosin. You know.
Yeah. You and the Mosin, you've really wanted a garbage rod for a while.
Yeah, I have, and I'm finally getting one. So I'm very happy about it, and I'm gonna make it the most Gucci fucking Mosin of all time. Very good deal too.
Please do.
Yeah. It will be the most Gucci Mosin.
I'm
buying a Night Force.
Fucking like cloud defensive rain. Yeah, but what are you going to do up front? I think you do a maul. I think you do like a cloud defensive or a mod light or something. Just a fucking like True North Concepts fucking CNC hand stop. You get a law tactical.
Well, if your optic,
just like
listen, if your optic isn't worth 20 times what your gun is, then you're fucking up. That's going to be the new standard.
Yeah. Yes, 100%.
I do have one final question for you, Balaclava.
Yes, sir.
You have an unlimited budget. What type of video do you make?
Unlimited budget. This is a good question. This is a really good question. I always wanted to try and like touch maybe a different era of history with like the same level of cinematic masterpiece, symphony, moving parts that was, the beach scene from Saving Private Ryan. How just kinetic the entire thing felt. With the detail, the filming style. I would like to replicate that to the best of my ability, maybe in a different historical era that has like another significance, maybe more modern, maybe more old. I don't know. But if I could do anything like that to the scale with how just unbelievable that felt, I'd probably shoot for that.
Yeah.
Does that work? Does that answer work?
You know what? Yeah.
Have
you seen a?
It sounds like you're. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know how many YouTubes you follow, but YouTubes you follow. Holy fuck, I'm dating myself. Corridor Digital had a really good video of like the VFX breakdown behind the beach landing scene in Saving Private Ryan, and it's super good. I highly recommend it if you are interested in that kind of thing, to check it out and kind of.
Well, I know of Corridor. I don't think I've seen the breakdown. I'd love to go watch that.
They film it with the VFX director. I believe he's the VFX director of that particular scene, and they have him in the room and they do the breakdown together.
That'd be very cool.
Super recommended.
I'll go watch that stat.
Yeah.
Are you like a film critic, or do you have like a interest just in film and editing in general?
I do. I wouldn't consider myself a film critic. I'd say I'm more of a film enjoyer. I don't think I have the chops to critique it. I really latch on to stuff that I see and that I like. That's why I became obsessed with like the Blood Diamond Carbine, even though it only appears for like, I don't know, 15 seconds in the movie. It just stuck its talons deep in me. And I think, movies really impact us in more ways than we care to admit. So that's kind of like was the inspiration of the channel and getting on making videos, because I wanted to touch that to, even if it was a small capacity of making, funny intros, at least I could have the same kind of impact to like a nth degree that movies do in our, regular lives. Because how much real estate do movies really take up in your head? For me personally, it's a lot. I don't know about you guys, but movies to me are very influential, and I think they have a lot of legs in society and pop culture. Yeah.
It's something I never bring up. Big film buff here. Like weird, like piss everyone else in the room off, just labeling off like particular VFX things or jump cuts or anything else that's like this is how you do this scene was directed by so and so, he also did the fight choreography for this. I think movies are a really, really influential part of pop culture, and inexorably they're also linked with the gun world. I think I'm going to say something kind of maybe contentious. John Wick was a huge, huge, huge win for the gun world. And it really, really brought actual, 3-gun style shooting into the mainstream.
Yeah.
I wasn't really going anywhere else with this. Sorry for interrupting.
No, I think you have a good stream of thought with that. I think you're absolutely right. John Wick was huge. I mean, look at what it's doing now. Like Keanu Reeves going and shooting with Terran Tactical, yet a controversial figure, but look at all the other celebrities who go and shoot with Terran now.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan podcast, he had I can't remember the actor's name, but he had famous actors going with him, and they're shooting and they're talking about guns on their podcast. And they're not as extreme in their views in the sense of like very pro gun. They're like, I got a gun. My friends were asking for a gun. I was like, you should have got a gun. That's how they are. We're over here like deregulate everything. You know what I mean? But it's a good starting point for them, I think.
Yeah.
I think they'll start getting there, because that's the same crowd that was always fighting to like legalize marijuana.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So they'll probably look for a new fight. They were like, legalize machine guns, and then it's like, all right, cool, we got a good crowd.
Get rid of that NFA.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm about it. Well, we're coming up. We're coming up on 2 hours. I really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, I want to.
It's really an honor.
An honor. It's always that makes me feel like way cooler than I actually am. It's an honor to have you on.
Yeah.
Thank
you for coming on, Mr. Talking Balaclava. This was a lot of fun. I'd like to have you on again at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Part 2.
I would love to come on here and we could talk about fat people again and machine guns and John Wick. It'd be a blast.
Please take a couple minutes or however long you want to shill yourself. If you don't talk about your Patreon, I'm going to talk about your Patreon, but please shill yourself, talk about what you got going on and where people can find you.
You can find me at Administrative Results on Instagram and YouTube. I make niche, weird internet micro videos involving firearms. Borderline autistic, but that's pretty much the gist of it.
That's most of us, and probably anyone listening to this right now.
Yeah, so we're all in good company then. So that's pretty much it, though. Yeah.
Check out his Patreon. I know we have a Patreon too, and you should check that out. But Patreon actually really helps us out. We're kind of out of the red now, Nathan. I don't know if we've updated people on that.
Fuck.
We are out. We are finally, out of the red officially.
Finally back on that fucking $1,000 podcasting equipment.
Yeah, we are officially out of the red, and we can pay our editor without going too deep into our pockets.
Yes.
Although we did just give him a raise because he deserves it.
He does deserve it. However, Zencastr does not deserve any more than I'm paying for them because I keep deleting fucking episodes. So
check out AWS. They're our sponsors of the show right now. They are like the Costco of the belt world.
Yes, they're like the Costco of the belt world. Big 2A supporters. I don't know the whole Brownells bit, but I'd riff on that, but I was not prepared to.
Yeah. AWS makes awesome belts. I've run mine personally for literally years, be it military application, deployment, or at home. I love my belt, and you should check them out. They also changed my mind on dump pouches. I don't know if I've talked about this. I've been super anti-dump pouch literally for like 6, 7, 8 years. Probably close to 8 years at this point. That's when I started to get into guns. I've been very anti-dump pouch because I put one fucking mag in and all of a sudden, like, it just doesn't fucking work. Like, I can't put like more than 2 or 3. So they sent me a dump pouch to change my mind, and not because they're a sponsor of the show, because I would have told them if it was fucking ass.
You were into their dump pouch beforehand.
Yeah, their dump pouch is actually pretty legit. I don't know how the fuck they figured out the black magic behind putting a mag in and having it not clog the entire pouch, but they figured it out, and it's really cool. They changed my mind on dump pouches, and they're pretty cool. You should check them out. Also, Applied Gear. They do the same thing except with everyday carry belts.
Yes.
They have really cool everyday carry belts, Cobra buckles, which are always fun.
Yeah.
And
I'm a total fucking dork, but even the belt that comes with the AWS SMU belt, I wear that as my everyday belt. But it looks super autistic when I like pull my shirt up, but it's really convenient and really comfy. And I can just slap my outer belt on it all the time if I want to just suddenly go LARP. Which
are you talking about, the inner belt?
Yeah.
Or the outer belt?
The inner belt. I'm literally wearing it right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's my everyday belt. It's because it's really convenient.
It's a good belt. Yeah. It's a really fucking convenient belt.
It looks super dumb, but because, it's an inner belt designed to pair with a outer, but also no one ever sees my belt, and it's really comfy, so I don't care.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so big shout out to them for supporting us. They're going to give us a discount code or free shipping. I'm not too sure soon.
Yeah.
But huge thanks to them and Balaclava Man for coming on.
Yeah. Also, a really big thanks to Task Force 69 and Task Force 420 for saving the world and keeping us all safe from Ron Jeremy and Macaulay Culkin Hitler.
It's pretty funny.
Well, hey, no, thanks again for coming on. You're more than welcome on again. We kind of don't really give a shit if people enjoy. I mean, we do. I mean, I care if the people enjoy the podcast or not, but for the most part, we just have people on that we genuinely enjoy, and you've been a pleasure to absolutely talk to.
When people enjoy it, and when they send messages being like, "Hey, yes, I enjoyed this really particular aspect of your life that I forgot that I brought up on a podcast that I guess tens of thousands of people listen to." I'm like, "Oh, how the fuck did you know that? How did you know about midnight tennis?"
Oh yeah, Nathan's midnight tennis sex escapade. But no, we genuinely appreciate you coming on. I always just enjoy getting to talk with people and getting to know people as a person, as opposed to like the internet persona. But I find that for the most part, a lot of people's internet persona is just them in video form, and it's so cool to hear.
It's nice. It's really refreshing.
I'm just actually kind of disturbed that you're trying to shuffle me out the door after overlooking Nathan's midnight tennis sexcapade. So that's...
Well, if you listen to the fucking podcast, you would know.
I'll catch up. I'll go catch up. Okay, shame on me. You got me. All right, that's fair enough.
Damn, you don't even listen to the fucking podcast.
Yeah, what the fuck?
No,
much less.
Hey, you get out of here.
We're just fucking.
I know. Much less. Yeah.
No, we really do appreciate you coming on. You're more than welcome to come on anytime. Any closing remarks from anybody?
No, I got nothing.
Check out the Patreon, our Patreon, and Administrative Results Patreon,
and also the YouTube channel. Go do that. Go watch Meg dump into Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, he only talked about his Instagram, but we're going to talk about it, fellas. His YouTube channel is great.
Yeah,
his Patreon's cool. You should support them. Okay, bye.